happy to welcome now Helen Taylor, from systems engineer to wellness pioneer with patients worldwide. Helen Taylor blends science and soul to transform lives through bespoke, integrative healthcare solutions. Welcome here in the show, Helen.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We met in Spartanburg some weeks ago in South Carolina. So now here virtually, this is what life can be and work can do currently, right? And
Exactly
um,
that.
and I mean, I'm very impressed about your the path you did from code-driven world of system engineering to the cellular complexity of human wellness. I mean, you made a really interesting journey, and um, as we all know, I mean, there is always a line which binds everything, a ribbon where you see that everything is woven in it. And as a biomedical scientist and regenerative health experts, and now sought after wellness concierge, you are at the cutting edge science with compassionate care, and you have decades of experience and a passion born from personal struggle. You told me, and you're not just treating. You're doing treatments. You are really trying to transform. This is your idea. So I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction as well.
Helen, when we talked first, I know and I remember that we talked sudden about holistic health.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is something I know are a lot of people, great school medicine medicals, which have this narrow minds when it comes to talking about preventive caring, symptoms, healing, things like this. Do you remember a moment in your childhood that sparked your curiosity for science or for health? Because often this tendency of school medicine or holistic or also in which direction to go is born often very, very early.
I think I always suffered as from puberty onwards, really, with heavy periods, and I was always a bit unsure as to why the why question, the why am I? Why is it me? Why me? Why do I feel like this? Very feeling very singled out without.
Mm.
Oh, just take this tablet and oh, just take this. And I think over the time, that's what's kind of triggered something in me to, and it's only sort of in the last decade or so that I really feel truly set in my purpose,
Mm.
and my why as to why I'm here in helping others heal. But I think my fascination with science has always been there since I was very, very young.
That sounds interesting. And is it something where you got also support role models in your family or friends' voice?
I think there was my grandmother, my mother would always look back to old-fashioned remedies because they
Mm.
always generally seemed to be the ones that worked as opposed to the medicine that you got in the pharmacy.
Mm.
Um, so I think it was always instilled in me to look more holistically as opposed to
Mhm.
just accepting a pill would work instead.
When you talk about this, can you remember procedures or things they did? For example, preparing herbs for a special tea or
I
putting
think
you.
it was
Mm.
more uh, there wasn't anything specific
Mhm.
that I can recall right now. But I think it was just more old-fashioned, just using the things that are found on the land rather than anything else that would heal. Finding
Mhm.
if you got stung with a stinging nettle, it would be a dock leaf. It wouldn't be using some potion or lotion that you just bought off the shelf.
I mean, I can imagine in my family, my grand uncle, he had bees, and he took then the propolis of from the bees and prepared their creams out of it. And I
Yeah.
sometimes sat next to him in his lab, where he put the creams together and had some
Oh,
small
amazing.
glasses, and was writing some formulas on paper, and That was interesting to me because it looks more like a chemical lab than a kind of medical healing lab.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that I think we've forgotten about, isn't it? About,
Yeah,
our bodies are incredible kits.
yeah.
We really do underestimate their capabilities of what they have available to them to repair and heal and renew. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, that's been blindsided by innovation and technology and just putting a plaster over a symptom when actually when the body's showing signs of breaking, it means that it's already run out of its toolkit and it needs some other things to be looked at, rather than just being given X, Y, or Z to so-called get rid of the
Hmm.
symptom.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever had the feeling that your first career, that you could take something out of this for your second
I
career?
think so. I think the engineering side of me would always, I'm going back long, long time ago when I used to work in London. I used to build systems, computer systems for
Mhm.
banks. And if one thing went down on a network, you'd want to understand why. You'd have to get to the cause of why that one thing went down on a network. We were running live stocks and shares. Nothing could go down. So if something did go down, you'd need to understand why, and you'd have to fix it. So
Mhm.
I think that's always been this ability to keep going, keep tunneling until you get to that why.
Mhm. And I completely understand this. And I mean, maybe it's also a kind of this a bit decoding human health, right?
Yeah, 100%. Because you've got your genes, haven't you? And that's your baseline. And then those codes won't change. However, there's then looking at the epigenetic side, which
Mhm.
is how things then switch on and off for simplicity, and how you support those genes and how you support that your way through life. You'll never make changes to your baseline, but you can support it and improve it to optimize your overall health.
Yeah, that's right, and that's very wise. And I mean, you tried, or you can come, or you combine, I think, a little bit of both worlds with each other, which is great. And if I look into more into where your science meets also humanity, um, can you describe a moment where it was totally clear for you that you have to work this way, that this is your mission, and that where you felt, yes, I have to go. This is my way.
Yeah, I think it was from my own personal journey, really, from, like I said earlier, the heavy sort of menstrual cycles that I went through and trying to understand why, and then eventually, some time ago now, I ended up having a full hysterectomy, which in hindsight, I now realize wasn't the answer to the question, and that actually probably hormone balancing needed to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for the people that came into my life at that time to make that my wow moment, my right. Hang on a minute. There's nothing I can do now. I can't bring my my womb and my ovaries back. They're gone. But what I can do is move forwards and help people, not only from a hormonal health perspective, but from everything else as well. And, like I said, the body is a fantastic bit of kit, and it will send
Mhm.
the messages to tell you what's wrong and how it needs to be healed or repaired or helped. It's just about listening and looking and seeing, to find those obvious requests. So I very much people sort of say you're the Sherlock Holmes of health in that respect, because you just keep going until you find the answer.
Absolutely. And I think you can be then also much better a kind of role model also for your patients that they see it's working. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, you said to me, and I like this very much. You said that for you, quality comes over quantity. So you're concentrating also on a special amount of patients where you are there for them every year, the whole time. They can
Yeah.
contact you. They are there for them,
So
which
what
is,
what happens? People tend to come in and speak to me, and usually they've been to other people. They can't get their answers. We
mhm,
do an array of testing that probably some others don't do, which then allows us to really dive deep. And then from there, what I tend to be is their wellness coach, I suppose. And I literally work with few people a year, and I'm literally there 24/7 to guide them through to optimization for their health.
wow. So a kind of health concierge, which could be a new, maybe a new job, a job
Well,
we,
that's my wellness concierge is one of my businesses definitely, and
yeah.
I don't just work alone. I work with a team, and I they're worldwide, and I think the importance of having a team that are worldwide is that you embrace different ways of thinking and you
Mhm.
embrace different ideologies from different countries, which really gives you that 360 approach to give the patient their best possible way to optimize their health.
Absolutely. What's the or have there been one patient or one story where you say, yes, this thank you, I will think and I will have in my mind forever?
I think all of the people that come through my door stay in my mind for one reason or another. But I think just being able to turn round somebody from um, walking when I had a clinic coming in, barely being able to walk into a clinic, barely being able to sit down, to be able to turning them round, to be walking again, being able to walk for miles, being positive in their business, in their work life, and absolutely thriving. In fact, I got a message from them this morning to say they were absolutely buzzing, which, 12 months ago they couldn't have even comprehended. And they were on a list of medication as long as their arm, which they're now off completely, but previously been told they were on for the rest of their life.
Wow. Wow, that's great. And I
So
mean,
it really is possible.
yeah.
It really is possible, but the mindset is key.
That's right, absolutely. And I see that unfortunately we have not that much time left, so we need a second series
Again,
definitely. We look
yes,
for that. But
yes.
for now, I'm curious to, and I think the listeners here too, to get a few hacks from you. Maybe longevity hacks, maybe your own hacks, how you feel good over the day, how you deal with obstacles, with challengers. Just one, two, or three, which you just
Yeah,
want
of
to share with
course.
us.
I think connect with the sunrise, earth, ground, get outside early in the morning. And
Mm.
also, if you can watch the sunset, that's incredibly powerful for your body to know when to switch on and when to switch off. And during the day, just breathe. Silence sometimes. As Ronan Keaton said, sometimes you say best when you say nothing.
Thank you so much. That's very wise, and I think it reminds us, or should remind us, that we have everything in us. That
Absolutely.
that looking outside the window can mean the word for us, and can change the word if we just train our eyes on looking at the right direction in the right way. Right. So, Helen, it was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the great discussion, inspiring insights. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you in person again soon and
Definitely.
driving further all our great projects, which we put into the world to make the world a better place, to get more people, yeah, get more into their feeling about themselves and help them for.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here and I look forward to coming back.
Thank you so much, Helen. Hearing you very, very soon. So that closes our and wraps our episode of We Empower, the weekly radio show dedicated to celebrating the strength, resilience, and limitless potential of women and men around the globe. Join us again next week as we continue on this empowering journey, sharing real stories of triumph, upliftment, and empowerment. Your presence and engagement mean the world to us, and we appreciate you taking the time to tune in. Remember, this time is a gift for you to discover new inspiration, embrace exciting insights, and find the motivation to love life to the fullest. Don't hesitate to get involved. Your voice is valued, and together we can make a difference. Thank you for being part of our community. And until next time, keep shining and empowering others. Together we rise.